Bits went fast and then bits went slow. So the last few months since basketball actually stopped, it actually went faster than I thought it would. I think when basketball's going on and you're like really driven and really focused on basketball and school, but now that I've had all this free time, it's kind of like gone by so quick. But in certain moments it went slow, but then thinking about when I came in as a freshman and like how much I've grown in just 4 years, it's flown by. It's crazy. It was. They always say the first 6 weeks are the hardest, and that was probably true. I was actually a little scared that the girls wouldn't like me. I was like, oh, I'm going to be from Australia, and I actually got in a bit later than some of the other freshmen, so I was like, they're going to be friends already, and I'm not going to be liked. So initially I was like, oh, I don't think I can do this, like the first 6 weeks. We played open gym, and I was like, these girls are really good. Like, why has she recruited me? Like, I can't really help. Like, I'm just this little girl from Australia. But then we started playing, and I started I'm confident in my basketball ability. So then I started playing, but then when coach threw me on as a starter for my first game, I was like, this isn't meant to happen. They told me that a freshman doesn't start. Like, what are you doing? So then I had to kind of change my mindset and become more physical, because the play's a lot more physical here, and I don't get away with as many fouls as I usually do. So the transition was, it was kind of rough, but now it's like everyday life, and I don't know how I'm going to transition back to being a normal person. Coach was, reading it out at the banquet, and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I didn't even know I'd scored 1,000 points that one time. I was like, oh, okay. But then after I scored 1,000 points, I looked it up because I wanted to beat Jazz Cervantes because she's my mentor. So I was like, I have to beat Jazz now. But then second is a huge achievement, and I think my team helped me do that. So they got me the ball, and I just kind of had to finish by the rim. So it kind of speaks to the program and how far we've kind of come. I mean, I wanted to leave a mark. That was always my goal. That's kind of why I chose Metro, because coach told me we'd be building a program and things like that, but I didn't know how instrumental I could be. And I think my junior year I really started to realize I can have a big impact from a leadership standpoint, but also a basketball standpoint. I can score, I am a good scorer, I can deliver for my team. And I guess, the last year I was like, well, I kind of need to leave my stamp and leave my mark, because I'm going to leave. Everyone kind of leaves, so yeah, it was important to me, but recognition solo wasn't a big thing for me. Initially it started with a passion, and I really loved basketball and I could really get something out of it, my education. But it kind of transitioned once I got to know the team and the coaching staff. It transitioned to I play for them, and I do play for myself, I do love it, but being there for my team became more important to me, delivering it night in and night out for the people who had given me such big opportunities. That kind of became my main kind of driving focus. Those hard practices, you're like, why am I getting up at 6 a.m. to lift weights? This is kind of stupid. And you're like, no, but my teammates are doing it with me, and we kind of building towards a bigger goal. So that was kind of what motivated me. She has compromised beyond a doubt to fit kind of what I needed to be. She told me once, she's like, I don't know how to coach you. And I was like, well, I don't really know how to help you with that. I'm just a player, and I'm going to play how I want to play. But we've had a lot of good discussions, and that trust has just built up over the years. And she saw where I was coming from, and she sees that my heart was always in a good place. And I knew she was always coming from a good place too. So just being able to recognize that coach is human, she's going to make mistakes. That was kind of my biggest learning thing, because you think, oh, my coach is scary, but she's just a human as well. She's just trying to figure it out. So I think once I realized that in my head, I was like, she's going to make mistakes and say things to me that she doesn't really mean in the moment, but you kind of just have to brush that off your back, because she wants what's best for you and the team. Yeah, he's become my second dad. Literally anything I ever need, I would just go to him, and we'd vent together, we'd mess around together. He's always been there for me. He adopted me into his family. Me and his family are really close. That's going to be really hard to say goodbye to them. But yeah, having him around for 4 years, there's some games I would just look at him and be like, can I do it? And he'd be like, yeah, I know you can do it. And he'd just be in my ear and telling me, reminding me of the little things. And yeah, he was kind of just my counselor and my person, on the road, at games. Yeah, it was just amazing to be able to have him all the way through. Yeah, probably a little bit more at times. There's times I probably could have been in the gym a little bit extra, but like, no, I need to study for that test. And athlete always came second for me, student came first, as they always try to tell you and reinforce, but it really did for me. That was the most important thing. It does, it comes like pretty naturally to me. I can kind of read a book and kind of take in the information I need to and kind of find out the key points. The teachers, the professors here help you a lot, like they guide you so much. So you just kind of have to listen to what they have to say, and it's like basketball. You listen to coach, you listen to your professor, and they tell you the game plan and where you're gonna go, and you just kind of have to execute it, and that's kind of what I've done. I want to work in public health, so I want to like help promote and like tell people about health issues and kind of help get like the healthy living kind of on the right track, especially in those countries that don't really have the knowledge and education yet. So I kind of want to go along those lines, I think, or like research diseases that I want to help other people with my knowledge is pretty much the end goal. Look, I didn't think that was going to happen. It's kind of come out of the blue, but I'd be more than willing to keep playing. I'm kind of trying to use my skills to my advantage to get as much as I can out of it, because I've put so much time and effort into it. So if I can kind of get something out of it, but I do love basketball, and it would be really fun to keep playing, especially in a different country against kind of different kind of players and a different kind of level, and for a different coach. It'd just be exciting to see how far I could kind of go, like oh, okay, like maybe I can go pro, because I was always like no one's gonna really want me, so it's like, well, maybe they do. So like on the court, definitely like the NCAA tournament, that was like my dream to like get and play under that kind of those conditions, and it lived up to everything it was. I just remember that last game we were playing, and I just smiled to myself, like we were down 10 or something, and I was like, it was like 2 minutes to go, like we probably lost, but I just remember smiling to myself and being like, wow, like 4 years, like I've made it 4 years, and we're at the NCAA tournament, and we're in it, like we did a pretty good job. And that was probably my favorite, like on the court. My favorite off the court, there's been a few. Our Minnesota trip, my freshman year, it was a disaster, like to say the least. We got locked out of the bus. The man locked the keys in the bus, and he came out. It was like 2 hours before our game. He's like, I locked the keys in the bus, and coach is like, we have to get taxis, like go, go, go. And that happened, and then Emily got pushed in the pool and ran into a wall, running away from one of my other teammates, wow. Denny. So that was quite, and then the heating didn't work in the bus on the way to the airport at 3 a.m, so our hair got caught to the window, and then me and Emily were late, so we ended up like getting a breakfast club, which is like torture. So that trip was a disaster, and I was like, surely it can only go up from here, because I was like a freshman. I was like, it can't get much worse, right? So that was probably one of the most memorable kind of trips we ever had. Just the people that I've met, like all throughout Metro, like not just my team, but like admin and the support staff around us, and just like the environment at Metro. Like it's such a different like college experience. I feel like I wouldn't have got anywhere else. So I'll definitely remember the people, and then just like the day in and day out grind. And I'll always look back and be like, even the toughest moments, I'll be like, you remember when you had to wake up and run the conditioning test like for 6 weeks straight? Yeah, you can get this like paper done or report done for your boss. Like that's kind of how I'm gonna remember it, I think. Kind of what you put in is what you're gonna get out, both basketball-wise and academically. If you are dedicated and you're gonna put in the work, you're gonna achieve great things. Like there's all the pathways to achieve great things here. It's not gonna be easy. You're gonna have your ups and downs with everyone, like from players to coaches. It's not gonna be a smooth ride, but it's gonna be a worthwhile ride, and you're gonna learn a lot about yourself and learn a lot for the future.